But then, seemingly overnight, the foundation beneath this dream began to crumble. News broke of a corruption scandal in Ukraine's defense sector so deep it made headlines from Washington to Warsaw. Suddenly, the trust that was supposed to anchor this partnership turned fragile, almost overnight. Ghanaian officials, after months of negotiation, are closing in on what is being called the deal of the decade. The vision is clear: drones patrolling Ghanea's vast borders, responding in real time to floods, fires, and security threats. The country stands to gain not only safer skies, but a new status as a technology leader in West Africa. What would you do if your country's most promising leap into the future suddenly stood on the edge of a scandal so massive it could topple governments? That is the question Ghana's leaders now face. Just as Ghana was set to form a groundbreaking partnership with Ukraine to deliver state-of-the-art military drones, the kind that could transform national security and project Ghana into the upper ranks of African technology innovators, disaster struck. It is a story that could have been lifted from the pages of a political thriller. Imagine, Ghana, a nation on the cusp of transforming its border defenses and disaster response capabilities, is ready to invest tens of millions of cedis into a high-tech future. The plan? To work hand-in-hand with Ukrainian engineers, not just importing, but co-manufacturing next-generation drones. These aren't mere gadgets. They represent new jobs, skills transfer, and a chance for Ghanaian engineers to stand shoulder to shoulder with the world's best. Let's take a step back to understand why this deal was so important to Ghana in the first place. The answer goes beyond simple ambition. It is rooted in urgent necessity. For Ghana, the timing could not have been worse. The country's ambitions for technological leadership now hung by a thread. Can Ghana risk its future and the faith of its citizens on a partner mired in scandal? Or is it time to walk away, no matter what has already been invested? But then, in Kyiv, the Ukrainian capital, anti-corruption investigators raid the homes and offices of high-profile politicians, military officers, and business moguls. The accusations? A multi-million-dollar procurement racket involving the very drones Ghana is hoping to acquire. Contracts padded by as much as 30%. Money meant for national security vanishing into thin air. In one instance, $80,000 earmarked for advanced drone technology simply disappeared. And this was not a case of a single rogue actor. Investigators found evidence of a coordinated scheme involving multiple layers of Ukraine's state apparatus. Ghana's northern border sits just south of the Sahel, a region plagued by instability. Armed groups, smugglers, and traffickers move across the porous frontiers of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, testing Ghana's resolve daily. Incidents of cross-border smuggling have risen steadily over the past decade. In 2012, Ghanaian border patrols reported only a handful of major incidents each month. By 2024, that number had grown more than fivefold, driven by chaos in neighboring countries and the spread of extremist networks. President John Dramani Mahama has made border security a top priority. He envisions a Ghana where high-tech drones act as tireless sentinels, able to spot smugglers, intercept traffickers, and direct rapid response teams to disaster zones. The drones could even deliver food and medical supplies to remote areas cut off by floods. The benefits are not theoretical. In Rwanda, for example, drone-based delivery systems have already slashed delivery times for blood and medical supplies from hours to minutes, saving countless lives. Ghana hopes to replicate and expand on this model, using drones not only for security, but for disaster management and development. But why choose Ukraine as a partner? The answer is equal parts pragmatism and vision. Ukraine's drone technology is not just advanced, it is battle-tested. During the ongoing conflict with Russia, Ukrainian drones have proven their effectiveness in real combat situations. Their systems have been credited with turning the tide in several engagements. For Ghana, this was a major selling point. Moreover, Ukraine's offer went beyond a simple sale. The deal on the table included co-production, technology transfer, and training for Ghanaian engineers. Imagine the impact: hundreds of new jobs, new manufacturing capacity, and a generation of Ghanaian technicians trained in one of the world's most dynamic tech sectors. If successful, this partnership could establish Ghana as a regional innovation hub. Other West African nations have already begun investing in drone technology, but a co-production agreement would set Ghana apart. It could serve as a model for tech-driven development across the continent, attracting further investment and forging new international partnerships. The potential ripple effects are enormous. Ghana could move from technology importer to technology creator, exporting expertise and systems to its neighbors. Ghana must now decide, is it worth the risk? But now, with Ukraine's corruption scandal dominating headlines, all of these dreams are at risk. The stakes are colossal. If Ghana presses on with the deal and it succeeds, the country will be hailed as a pioneer, a nation that seized opportunity amid global uncertainty. But if the partnership fails, the consequences could be disastrous. Wasted public funds, defective or missing equipment, and a blow to national pride that could take years to repair. The situation Ghana faces today has echoes throughout history. Consider Brazil's failed fighter jet partnership in the 1980s, when corruption and mismanagement led to billions lost and decades of stagnation in aerospace development. Or look at Nigeria's attempt to modernize its railways with Chinese partners. Delays, cost overruns, and allegations of bribery tarnished what was supposed to be a flagship project. Each time, the real cost was not only financial, but reputational. When trust breaks down, so does progress. For Ghana, these are not distant headlines. They are flashing red lights. The very industry Ghana wants to partner with is now in turmoil, riven by scandal and mistrust. There are clear parallels to what happened in South Korea in the 1990s, when a massive defense procurement scandal led to the downfall of several top officials and left the country scrambling to restore its global reputation. The corruption scandal in Ukraine is not just a minor hiccup, it is a systemic crisis. In August of 2025, Ukrainian anti-corruption agencies swept through Kyiv, arresting a sitting parliamentarian, a former regional governor, a senior National Guard officer, and several business tycoons. Investigators revealed a sprawling network that manipulated procurement contracts for military drones and electronic warfare systems. The scale was breathtaking. In one series of contracts, the prices were inflated by as much as 30%, with kickbacks routed through shell companies in Cyprus and the British Virgin Islands. Even more troubling, when the National Anti-Corruption Bureau, NABU, and the Special Anti-Corruption Prosecutor's Office, SAPO, tried to bring the scandal to light, they faced direct interference. Whistleblowers were threatened, and there were attempts by senior government officials to quash the investigation. This sparked mass protests in Kyiv's Independence Square. Thousands of Ukrainians rallied, demanding that anti-corruption agencies be allowed to operate freely. The international community watched closely. The United States State Department issued a stern warning, and the European Union threatened to freeze aid unless Ukraine demonstrated real progress against corruption. The financial risks are equally severe. Tens of millions in public funds could vanish, leaving Ghana with nothing to show for its investment. The specter of wasted money and public humiliation would loom large. International investors, seeing the fallout, could pull back from future projects, setting back Ghana's development by years. But perhaps the greatest risk is to Ghana's reputation. Once a country is tainted by a failed partnership, it can take decades to recover. In the 1970s, Kenya's failed arms deals with Eastern European suppliers led to years of suspicion from Western partners and a drying up of foreign investment. Ghana must avoid repeating such mistakes. If Ghana moves forward without ironclad safeguards, the risks are immense. There is the danger of paying millions for drones that never arrive, or worse, receiving substandard equipment that fails at the crucial moment. Imagine border patrol units relying on drones that crash due to faulty components, or emergency response teams left blind because of malfunctioning sensors. These are not hypothetical scenarios. In 2018, India faced a similar crisis when imported drones failed during disaster relief operations. Lives were lost, and the country's faith in high-tech solutions was severely shaken. Ghana can also look to international best practices. In the European Union, Major defense contracts are overseen by independent ombudsmen, and every transaction is tracked through open-source ledgers. Ghana could adopt a similar approach, creating a public dashboard where every aspect of the drone deal is visible to citizens, journalists, and watchdog groups. So, what can Ghana do? The first step is rigorous due diligence. Every aspect of the deal with Ukraine must be subjected to independent third-party audits. Contracts must be public, with strict penalties for delays, cost overruns, or substandard equipment. Ghana should insist on phased payments, releasing funds only after clear milestones are met and equipment passes stringent quality checks. This is the model used by Singapore, a country renowned for its corruption-free procurement processes. Their insistence on transparency and accountability has made them a trusted partner worldwide. If Ukraine refuses such transparency, Ghana must be willing to walk away. The global drone market is competitive. Turkey's Bayraktar drones, Israel's Elbit systems, and China's Wing-Long platforms all offer proven technology at competitive prices. Some of these countries have already established joint manufacturing ventures with African nations, often including technology transfer and training. By negotiating hard and demanding the highest standards, Ghana can secure the best deal for its people. There are also opportunities for Ghana to build regional alliances. By partnering with neighboring countries such as Côte d'Ivoire, Togo, and Burkina Faso, Ghana could create a joint procurement initiative. This would increase bargaining power, spread risk, and ensure that technology standards are harmonized across borders. In East Africa, the East African Community has already launched joint infrastructure projects with success, showing that collective action can yield better results than going it alone. So what should Ghana do now? Moving forward, Ghana can set a powerful example for the continent. By insisting on transparency, accountability, and open-source contracts, Ghana could become a model for tech-driven development in Africa. This would not only attract new investors, but also force suppliers to raise their standards across the board. Imagine a future where Ghanaian engineers are not just building drones, but exporting them, where Ghana's name is synonymous with quality and trustworthiness. Of course, the road ahead will not be easy. There will be pressure from lobbyists, foreign governments, and perhaps even from within Ghana's own political system to move quickly, to seize the opportunity before it slips away. But history teaches us that shortcuts lead to disaster. In the 1990s, Argentina rushed into a major satellite project without proper oversight. The result was a costly failure that set back its space program by decades. Ghana stands at a crossroads. Push forward and risk disaster, or pause, demand reform, and build something truly lasting. The world is watching. Ghana's decision will set a precedent for every emerging nation navigating the treacherous waters of global technology and defense procurement. First, take a deep breath and refuse to be rushed. Insist on total transparency and third-party oversight. If Ukraine cannot deliver, look elsewhere. Engage with regional partners to increase bargaining power. And above all, put the interests of Ghana's citizens above all else. Public trust is the most valuable asset a nation can possess. So, if you were in charge, what would you do? Would you gamble on a scandal-plagued partnership in hopes of a technological leap, or would you demand ironclad safeguards, even if it means walking away from the deal of the decade? This is more than a headline. It is about real lives, public money, and Ghana's future as a leader in Africa. Every decision made today will echo for generations. With courage and discipline, Ghana has the chance to chart a new path, not just for itself, but for every nation striving to balance ambition with integrity. Share your thoughts below. Should Ghana stand firm for clean deals, or take the tech leap and hope that reforms catch up? This is a moment that could define not only Ghana's future, but the future of every country facing the same high-stakes dilemma in a world where technology and trust are inextricably linked.